You were talking in detail about things you wanted to do to the waiter. And when I said, James, he's straight, your response was, doesn't matter, I'm a celebrity. So freaking gross.
I want a boy who is straight. Have you ever hooked up with a guy before?
No.
You should try it sometime.
No, you told me that you have turned out straight guys. Elaborate on that, because you are a famous celebrity.
We've had similar situations. We also have very similar
Taste.
tasting guys too.
Hot.
Masculine.
Straight.
Well, if James Charles is apparently a clown, well, what does that make me? Because I just went and picked up one of these earlier today. Well, I suppose I could use it and try and unleash my inner artist. Well, I do feel like kind of an idiot. Hello everyone, I'm Alex, and welcome back. In today's video, I think this is officially where the saga of these videos ends. You guys have been asking me to come on and talk about what has obviously been going on over the last few days. But before we do that, I think we should recap exactly what it is that's happening. Because it's a lot. James Charles' foundations have come crumbling down. And it's got to the point where he can't really conceal it anymore, as his behaviour has been highlighted. I just hope him and Tati make up. I thought I'd get all of those out of the way first, get it out of my system, you know, so we could properly carry on, because it's going to become a lot sadder from here on out. So if you haven't been around, a beauty guru called Tati has basically come out and made a video on James Charles, which is 40 minutes long, detailing his behaviour, the fact that he pressures straight boys into trying to sleep with him, and the huge overarching factor being that he is very much up himself, apparently, and most definitely doesn't look out for his friends. She starts the video off by explaining that the first thing that her and her husband ever did for James Charles would get him a jump from $100 a video to around $2,500 a video. Career changing.
He was making $90 a video, and because of me and my husband, he was making $2,500 immediately from a switch being flipped because his former management did not go in and do that for him.
And then, because of the fact that at the time James had no money, she decided to fly him out to her wedding so she could do the makeup. And then she said this.
It's sad to think that I will never be able to watch my wedding video without seeing his face and thinking of him and thinking about all the things I hoped our relationship would be. Like, I always envisioned that he would grow up. At some point, we'd kind of meet up as friends because he would be an adult.
Which is absolutely heartbreaking. And I think you could tell when you watch this video, but it is incredibly sincere. She opens up the video with a compilation of her promoting James Code at the Morphe store, and it's a lot. It's a lot of promotion, which means she probably made him a lot of money even then.
But you guys can still use code James for 10% off this one. I'm the friend that's encouraging you guys to use code James for 10% off of savings. You can use anybody's code. Use, James's code. I'm wearing my sister's apparel.
She then also heavily promoted his eyeshadow palette. She did the whole 9 for him. And I know one of the things that people say is don't do something for people if you're expecting it in return, because it's no longer a good deed. But I don't think that's the issue here. I think she didn't just get less than she maybe even expected, but she got absolutely nothing at all, to the point where he just started hurting her feelings. And that's why she felt like she had to make this, because it was becoming a personal and then public attack, thanks to Gabrielle Zamora's really stupid tweet. The thing that absolutely shocks me the most is how Tati says that she was the person who he would cry on every time that there was a sister scandal. I don't know how he's got any more tears left. And then I think the final kicker, which really sent this into absolute overdrive, was the fact that Tati runs a vitamin company, and she offered James Charles a chance to promote that vitamin company so that he wouldn't go to her competitors. And he went to Coachella, and then he said that he took a brand deal, and it was for another vitamin company. And obviously she got very upset, especially as she'd offered to pay him to do his. And the reason why it never happened in the first place is because he said he'd never promote a company like that, because he's got a young fan base and he doesn't want to promote stuff like that to them.
Because the reason that James always said that he couldn't promote Halo on his channel and really do like, you know, heavy endorsement was because he has a teenage audience and it would just be inappropriate.
But they just came out with brand new vegan sleep vitamins, and first of all, they taste so bomb. But most importantly, I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety recently, and it always comes late at night when I'm laying in bed thinking, which is not fun or fresh. So I've been taking these 30 minutes before bed, and they've been really, really helping. So if you guys want to check them out, you can swipe up.
Apparently, he just doesn't care anymore, or they must have paid him a lot more because he did it anyway. So not only did he take a brand that he believed would actually harm his young fan base, he also sacrificed an entire friendship to do so. God knows how much they were paying him, but I'm sure it's not worth the 1 million subscribers he's lost in the last 24 hours. Yep. Over 1 million. Now that's where all the personal friendships kind of fall apart. It's the next part of this which really made me incredibly uncomfortable when I listened to it, and it's been even worse since then because Twitter has been an absolute firestorm recently. And that's the fact that she directly calls out James Charles' behaviour being predatory towards straight men.
You were talking in detail about things you wanted to do to the waiter, and when I said, James, he's straight, your response was, doesn't matter, I'm a celebrity. So freaking gross. And you said that in front of my family.
He literally said because he's famous, he can literally do what he wants to this man who is straight, who is just doing his job for them. I'm a celebrity, I can do whatever I want. Now that could be a joke, a really terrible joke. But if you actually look at all the evidence, at this point I think it's undeniable that is what's been going on. There are some old tweets that have emerged from James where somebody asks if he could be flown out to meet him, and then James says there's no point if we're not hooking up because he's straight. He has an entire video on his channel with Jeff Wittick where Jeff is incredibly uncomfortable as James comes onto him for the entire thing. But it's an entire video where that's all they talk about, and it's just about pressuring him to maybe sleep with him. And I don't know why I got uploaded in the first place. Then another straight guy who James Charles was seeing called Gage came out and uploaded 2 videos on James Charles and the fact that James was trying to pressure him by buying him stuff to then make him sleep with him afterwards. And there are so many more instances like this coming out as it goes on. And one of the newest ones is the fact that Zara Larsson tweeted that James Charles keeps on trying to hit up her boyfriend. So yeah, it's most definitely a problem that he's got. But when a close friend comes out and acknowledges that all of these things that people have been speculating and alleging on the internet is true, it just makes me really sad. Because this is something that so many YouTubers seem to fall short for. And I don't understand why. Because you are a celebrity and you are famous. So I'm sure you can find somebody out there who's of the same sexuality who probably likes you a bit. I don't think it would be that hard, really. Is it worth losing your whole career over? Apparently so. Now, James has uploaded an apology to this original video where he has gone through and addressed some of the things. Because it's an 8-minute video that's been dragged out. And I don't want to critique the apology because everybody keeps on saying that it's fake crying and none of it's real, or he pauses and he takes too long. But I don't think there's a right way to do an apology, so I'm not going to hold him accountable for that. I'd rather hold him accountable for the whole straight men thing. That seems a bit worse than fake crying on camera. I've been somebody who's defended James a lot in the past because I believe he got a lot of stick because of who he was and not exactly who he was as a character. And I separated the two of those to make my videos. I believed most of the time that he was being attacked by most people. It was mainly because he was probably one of the most relevant people, most famous people at that time, and that's how most of those videos go. But when it comes down to character, which is what it is today, it's simply inexcusable. I don't think there's anything here that really can be turned around in that aspect. If you look at everything that's been laid out on the table, ignoring even just the personal stuff that he's done with Tati as a friend or brand deals, the way that he has gone after people using his following to do that is something that I've been so strongly against for the entirety of my YouTube career. I have had so many friends do this, and I've casted all of them out the same. Because it is disgusting, it's disgraceful behaviour, and I can't believe that people do this. Because it's so avoidable. And I think that's one of the most upsetting things. So I don't know why it has to keep on happening. Now, people are calling James Charles a paedophile because they find pictures of him with a kid, or they're saying that he's now apparently an actual sex offender because some post with loads of words in came up and a high school photo appeared. And I don't believe any of that stuff. I think a lot of people are starting to jump on the bandwagon now, which they have been doing even before he was widely hated as he is now. And that stuff I can't stand behind. Hold him accountable to what he's actually done. Pressuring straight people into doing stuff. Don't make up stories to make it seem like it's even crazier and more epic than it originally was. Now, I've met James, and I thought he was lovely. I only hung around with him for a couple of hours, and he was nice. We just kind of spoke about YouTube stuff, and that was really it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and publicly drag out private stuff that I've had with James, because that's just something that I don't want to do. But when I met him, he was nice. I got on with him. I thought he was a lovely bloke. But after seeing this, quite clearly, he has stuff that he needs to address. And there's stuff here that needs to be done. And I wouldn't feel right if I didn't address any of this stuff in a video. I can't defend him so many times and then ignore the biggest fuck up that you've probably seen on YouTube in a long time. That would be wrong of me, and I would not feel right doing that. Especially because of what this is, and especially because of the way that I've dealt with it in the past. It's something that I felt they needed to be really held accountable, and people shouldn't forget, because it's not something that should be brushed under the rug. Here's a bit of advice for YouTubers, because the one thing that I got from all of this is that James Charles is simply another fucking name. He's just a name. He's just a bloke. And there are so many YouTubers out there who are also just a name, just a bloke. You are not more than your YouTube channel. You are not more than anything. You're not more than anybody else. Treating your friends right is not something you should do because of the fact that you may end up having your social blade destroyed. It's something you should do because they are your friends. Having integrity is not something you should do because of the fact that it's going to make you less money but keep your career going on for a long time. Having integrity is something you should do because having integrity makes you an actual human being. Everybody nowadays seems to be bought or a scumbag, or a scam artist, or terrible with friendships, and it's because they're self-serving. But you know what the best thing you could do to keep your career alive is? Do you want to know what it is? Do you want to know what the best thing you could do if you are a self-serving, arrogant, ignorant asshole? Be good. You will have a career for way longer and probably make way more money if you are actually just a nice person. It's a concept. Maybe try it. Because being an arrogant, selfish, scamming prick seems to not be working very well for anyone. How mental is that? That the best way to keep your YouTube career alive is just by being a good person. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, a like is appreciated. Subscribe if you need, turn notifications on if you want to see more. I don't really know what to say. I've said everything that I could possibly say about this situation that I personally feel comfortable with. I'm incredibly disappointed in not just James, but also in YouTubers again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, people, and have a good day.